Hey guys, this is Grace and welcome to my channel. I am starting off a new series. This is actually kind of version 2 of my scrap series that I did I think it was in July, but I wanted to revisit it because I have a lot of scraps again accumulated, and so I figured I will do that. And I felt like this series is kind of self-explanatory, so I didn't need an introduction for it. So let's dive into the first page. So I'm using this cut file. I believe this is a free one from Paper Issues, and it's just a circle with a bunch of different grid blocks within that circle, and I thought that that would be a perfect background or cut file to use with scraps of paper. And if you've watched my videos before, you know that right now I have been using, or what I do with my journaling is I pre-type it all in one 8.5 by 11 sheet and then just print it out. And so when I need some journaling, or when I am ready to scrapbook that specific event, I have my journaling all typed up. So, and that's what I just did with trimming that little piece. So now I'm trying to figure out where I'm going to put my journaling here, and I thought that that would be a good place to do it, and just trying to figure out what kind of background paper can I use that for, or can I use behind that. And so I've kind of skipped that process because it's, again, self-explanatory. You just back up the cut file with pieces of pattern paper, and I used a liquid glue to adhere all of that. And I also used a pencil to draw the shape, so I can cut the specific paper to match that size of the block that I'm going to use it for. And I am going to use a pink cardstock as my background piece, which I cut the center square from it so that I can use that for a different page. And then I have this, it's not a pattern, it's not a cardstock, it's a pattern paper, but it has a very subtle yellow design to it, and I thought that would be a good background for this because the cut file piece is already very heavily decorated, so I just needed just subtle designs in the background. And so another thing that I wanted to show to use up your scraps is to use them as embellishments. Like this one paper that I'm using, it has the lines of the flowers are foiled, so it has gold accents on it. And so instead of using that as a paper, I'm going to cut out just the shape to make it into a handmade embellishment. And I'm going to do the same thing with this particular scrap of paper. It has a bunch of clusters of flowers that I am just going to fussy cut with my scissors, and that's going to act as my embellishments as well. So as you can see, this page was done by just focusing on papers, and papers for me are one of those things that I love. It's like my go-to kind of comfort zone. Although I do use some embellishments, but I just really like pushing myself to see how much further I can use a paper or what I can use it for. And so the title of this is actually that bracket or the banner piece that you see that's on the right side of my kind of photo cluster in the center. So a little bit about the photo. This one was taken from my phone, and so that's why I just printed it off as a 3x4. I don't usually use 3x4 or just actually I don't usually use a single photo on my page, but there are certain layouts that really just lends itself for just a single photo. And this one in particular was. The story behind the photo was that this is my daughter when my youngest son was born. There's 9 years difference between her and my and our youngest, and so she was just like a little mama to him. And I caught this moment where she kissed his forehead when he was a baby, and so I thought that that was a really sweet thing, and I needed to document that. There was a 3x4 paper that I pulled out that had words of the members of the family, and so I cut out the sister and the brother, and then cut out the right sides of it into banner shapes, and then I'm going to use that on my page as well. And then there's this pattern paper that had a bunch of cameras on there, and I decided to use that as well as part of my embellishment. So the title, I have added some fun foam to the back side of that so that it will be raised. And initially I wanted a journaling to go on the inside of one of those blocks, but it just didn't fit, so it went on the side of the circle. And that is my page. If you have any questions, make sure that you leave it in the comment section below. Otherwise, I will catch you next time. Bye.